Hello, creative ones, and welcome to Mixed Media Art. I'm Michelle, and I'm so excited to be joining you on this gel printing fundamentals journey. So, in this session, we're going to be talking about what tools, apart from the actual gel plate, do we need to get started with gel printing. So, let's jump in. So, the things that we need to get started in gel printing, like we said, apart from our gel plate that we've spoken about in the previous episode, we also need something to put our gel plate onto. So I've got a bit of plastic, or it could be a glass sheet, or you could also leave the backing piece on. What you want to make sure is not something that will draw the natural oils out of the plate. So we don't want it sitting on paper or newsprint or anything like that, but something that we can easily move about, keep it flexible, and also it makes it a little bit easier to handle. One of the other things we need is a brayer. That's a fancy name for a roller. We can get 4-inch ones. We can get thinner ones as well. This is quite soft, so it's not soft. It's got quite a solid surface on it, though I think they are called soft brayers. So this is also a great one because you can pull it out and clean it. Okay, the other thing we need is a range of paints. So these are some of my favourite ones that we stock, the Dina Wakley ones and the Dilutions paints. It's great because you can get these in lots of different colours. It's also good to have a large tube of white on hand because that's something we're going to use quite a bit for our pickup prints. Now, any acrylic paints will be good enough to get you started. We just want sort of a decent craft brand, and that gives us a chance to do some of these great different techniques. We want different things for creating texture and mark making. Now, it can be as simple as a piece of bubble wrap. You can already see that's got some gorgeous colour on it. It could be a bought stencil. It could be a homemade stencil. One of my favourite things at the moment is to take old laminated sheets and cut them up. It makes it last just that little bit longer. Of course, you could use paper masks and stencils as well. You want some things like some stamps, foam stamps or rubber stamps, and of course you can use different things to create textures. You can include floral elements, leaves, all sorts of things. And then of course we need some paper, and it turns out you're going to need quite a bit of paper. So in addition to scrap paper, I also like to use something that's perhaps a little bit heavier than an 80 GSM, so a little bit heavier than normal copy paper. You can also, of course, use tissue paper or deli paper. It really does depend what you want to do with it. If you want to collage it, you might want something a bit thinner. If you're going to actually create prints that you're then going to frame, you actually might want something a little bit thicker. But again, for getting started and not feeling like we're ruining anything too good, just decent copy paper is a really good place to start. The other thing you need, of course, is some space to play. I cover my tables with a plastic tablecloth to try and limit the mess. And also considering what you're wearing as well, I like to make sure that my sleeves aren't dragging on the surface. And of course, we want to make sure that we're staying away from carpeted surfaces because the paint can tend to get a little bit out of control once we get started. But in addition to a gel plate, they are the basic things we need. We need a brayer, we need some paint, we need some mark making tools, whether it's free things that we can find or things that we've bought, and of course a whole stack of paper, and then we'll be ready to jump in. So I hope that's given you some ideas about the other things you need to start gathering before we jump into gel printing. Like I said, the gel plate is certainly one part of it, and there's a handful of other things that we also need close at hand when we get started. So if you do have any comments, pop them in the comments below. Make sure you tap like, subscribe, and looking forward to seeing you in our very next gel printing fundamentals lesson. Have a crafty day.